Eddie, how's it going there today?
Good. How you doing, bro?
Great. Thank you very much for making the time. It is always great to be speaking to the heart and soul of Impact Wrestling. Are you comfortable with still being called that?
I mean, it's an honor. Of course, I'm comfortable with it. It's still, it's still weird every once in a while, but I welcome it. I enjoy it. So thank you.
I mean, some people like to under promise and over deliver. Like they'll go, I'm pretty good. And then they'll be amazing. And then it's kind of a big weight to bear to be known as the heart and soul. That's why I asked.
Yeah, it is. But I've been here so long that that kind of happens, and luckily people seem to respect me, so I try to respect them back and do whatever I can to help anybody.
Yeah, I'd be really hard pressed to find somebody who has one negative thing to say about you. And even when we hate you on screen, people still love Eddie Edwards. So I don't know what you're doing. Keep it up. So
So I guess I'm doing something right. I don't know. Same thing. I don't know what it is, but I'll keep doing it.
there you go. So Under Siege, that's a pretty damn big deal, that match that you have. Anything different for you this time around for preparing for a big match like that?
It's different because I'm teaming up with guys that I've never teamed up with before, Juice and Finley. And, going against Kenny and the brothers in a six-man, obviously we know how successful they have been, and obviously we know how successful Juice and Finley have been. So it's a welcome opportunity. It's something different. It's a fresh matchup, and sometimes in wrestling, you see guys and you think you're going to click with them, or you think oh, this is going to be good, or sometimes like I don't know if it's going to click. But with Juice and Finley on the same side, it's everything I've seen. It's like I want to. Even before this match, got set up, I wanted to team with them because they have good attitudes. They go out there, put on good matches. It's just something I would like to do. And obviously facing Kenny, the world champion of numerous companies right now,
right,
especially being Impact World Champion, I welcome that. I want to see what the champions got. That's all.
Yeah. Kenny is not the only world champion in this match, because you've held world championships in multiple companies multiple times. So that's why I'm putting you on the pedestal here. There's not a lot of world champions for top companies still actively wrestling, which you are. Now, what that makes me curious about is less than a year ago, you were headlining Slammiversary. You seem to be very comfortable with, and tell me if I'm wrong here, but you seem to be very comfortable with sometimes you're in the main event, sometimes you're in the middle. Is that something that you like, being this flexible utility kind of guy?
Definitely. It's something where, I feel whatever position I'm put in, I'm going to do everything I can to make it successful, to make whatever I'm doing work. And sometimes, like you said, sometimes it's in the main event for the world title. Sometimes it's mid-card. I'll be an opening match. It doesn't matter to me, because that just speaks to how great the roster is of Impact. It's like, I know everybody wants to be on top of the mountain. Believe me, I do as much as anybody. I want to be that guy on the top of the mountain with the championship. But you have your chances, and then you got to go back down and work your way up. And it's nice to see other guys get opportunities. I'm all for that. The bigger stars we can make, the bigger stars we're going to have, and the better we're going to do all together as a company.
Being a veteran, you've pretty much worked with everybody that needs to be worked with, pretty much, except W. Morrissey, except for him. Is there anyone else on the roster that one day you're hoping to get in the ring with that you haven't yet?
It's the guys that I really haven't, or it's been a while. Like, Chris Bay, he's kind of come into his own. I did wrestle him already, but, it wasn't it wasn't a main event type match. It wasn't, he was still kind of coming into his own. I'd like to work with Trey Miguel again, because he's been on fire lately. So to do that, Rohit Raju, I'd like to work him. Big Jake something. I think that the opportunity for new matches, I can still do them. There's still a chance, because if I did have matches with these guys, it's been a while since it happened, and everybody's kind of grown and gotten better and kind of come into their own. So I like to kind of see them if I work with them early in their career, and then a little bit further down the road, and I can kind of see how they progress and see what they're all about.
Cool. Well, I'm not asking for an exclusive here. If you don't know, you don't know. But do you know what's ahead for you with Against All Odds, or is that contingent on who wins this match with Finjuice?
Yeah, I do not know, and that is that is truth. I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, I'd say a lot of it's going to revolve around the Under Siege match and then kind of go from there. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I welcome any opportunity, anything different. So whatever they give me, we're going to go 100% and see what we can do.
Got it. So against all odds, I know you're a hip hop guy primarily. Any idea if that pay-per-view was named after a Phil Collins song? I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say no, but our creative, they may be big Phil Collins fans. I don't know. So maybe it is. We can pretend that it was, and we'll leave it like that.
That's fair. I got a question from a big fan of yours named Mike Blummer. And this is like an off-brand question, but again, it goes back into the compliment territory. And bunch of years ago, you had a little bit of a run that we saw you in NXT and it didn't work out. People say what they want to say, but now we fast forward these years and we've seen you be a world champion a few times since then. So related to that, did everything work out exactly as you'd hoped to, given that false start?
1,000%. I'm a big believer, like everything happens for a reason type guy. So in that case, it was like, it wasn't time to do anything down there. It was like, it wasn't in the cards. And then me and Davey literally got on the phone and we were signed to Impact later on the day that things came to a halt elsewhere. So it's like, if that didn't happen, maybe we wouldn't have come to Impact or whatever would have happened. I wouldn't be where I am. And I can 100% say that I am the happiest. I'm the most comfortable, I've ever been in wrestling and in my life. It's just kind of a perfect storm of my life right now. And I am happy with the way it's all gone.
And of course, not the only accomplished, successful wrestler in the household. How is it that you're able to make that work? Now, I had 2 to 3 years where I was working alongside my wife. We got along fine. Things got heated at times, the close proximity, especially working from home. You seem to make it work. We've never heard one bust up in an airport, anything like that.
Knock on wood. Yeah. We've been together for a long time, so that has definitely helped. And, she had always supported me when, I'd be traveling, I'd be doing Impact, and, she knew what I was doing and she'd be doing indie stuff. And we kind of had our two separate things going on.
Yeah.
But now, obviously, when you find out that you're going to be working together, you're going to be traveling together, you're going to be staying together, all that stuff, you don't know what it's going to be like. And, obviously there's been a long history of broken relationships in the world of professional wrestling. So, we obviously welcome it. It's like, well, let's see how it goes. And the good thing is when we get to, when we're at the tapings and the shows, she does her thing and I do my thing. And then, we get together, we do whatever we need to do and then kind of go our own way. I'm a firm believer in, you have to have you have to have your own lives apart, but you have to have that life together. And that's very much what we've been able to do so far. So far, so good. And we're also very good about when we're home. It's not, it's not work. Obviously, we talk about wrestling, whatever we need to do for work.
Press days aside.
Exactly. So when we're home, we like to shut off and, sit on the couch and binge some TV and hang out with our daughter. That's kind of what we do. And that definitely helps me mentally. And I know it helps my wife. So that's what has been working. We're going to keep riding this ship until we sink, I guess.
Well, 3 quick questions and then you're free for me and on to the rest of the world that wants to talk to Eddie Edwards. And the first question is, have you ever had a run-in with Eddie the Eagle? Because unfortunately, his name keeps coming up in Google when we look you up.
Oh, yes. No, I have not. I've only been tagged in numerous tweets that were for him. And I'm always happy to respond with, hey, thanks for the support. And I don't even know if these people ever realized that I wasn't the Eddie Edwards they're trying to talk about. But it happens, every few months I get tagged in a thought or a tweet about it. Other than that, I have not ever ran into him. And obviously I didn't know of him before I picked my wrestling name before I was Eddie Edwards. I didn't know until after the fact. And I was like, oh, well, I'll roll the dice, see how it goes.
Cool. Question 2. You are an author. I don't know if everybody realizes that, a published author, but so much has happened since you wrote that book. There's more chapters of your life. Do you ever plan on either making another book happen or a podcast or something to document that journey in those chapters?
Well, we actually have a second children's book coming out, which is not necessarily about my life. It's, American Wolf in London type deal. And I travel with Kenny the Kendo Stick and we go on an adventure. I don't know about down the road. I enjoy speaking on podcasts, every once in a while, but it's not necessarily something I want to do all the time. Like I enjoy the back and forth with people, the back and forth we're having right now. I enjoy this, but I don't necessarily think I need to write a autobiography or spill my guts on a podcast. There's some stories I probably don't want to tell anyway. So that just kind of makes it easier.
Well said. And then the closing question, you mentioned when you're off the road, when life is normal and all that, watching a lot of TV. What's a TV recommendation or two that you could pass along for somebody who needs a new show to start?
Me and my wife, especially my wife, she's a big Queen of the South fan. And we just watched, an episode last night. So that's on its final season. You should check that out. And I've gone back and watched some shows that I watched years ago recently. Like I can just kind of put it on TV and do whatever I'm doing. And I recently did that with The Shield, which is a very good show. It was one of my favorites. So every once in a while, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to run through it again. I throw it on and I'm like, oh, man, this show is really freaking good. So those would be my two suggestions.
Cool. Good picks as always. Well, thank you so much for your time. Looking forward to your big match alongside Finjuice and Against All Odds, even if it is not about Phil Collins in the pay-per-view name. I'm still looking forward to that one. So,
but we'll say it is. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate the support and thank you for helping out Impact, man.
Paltrocast.